Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to another 2D hack and slash lesson for my Pay What You Want course. In the description, as always, there's a link to itch.io where you can donate to the course, or my pixel art course on Udemy. You can purchase that as a way to support this as well. Let's get started. So, in the last lesson, we created our attack 2 state. So I'm going to give you guys a challenge in this video to create the third and final attack state on your own. It shouldn't be too hard. I don't actually know what the hit frame range will be. We can open it up real quick and look at it. Let's set our origin. We'll do 24, 48. And it looks like it would be something like, oh, you don't need a hit frame range because this one just ends when the animation ends. So it doesn't have a transition out of it. Oh, but we do need a transition from attack 2. So my guess is this one would be a hit frame range of 0, 1, 2. Maybe you could pull off 2 to 4. That would be pretty good, probably 2 to 4 for a hit frame range. So yeah, see if you can do that. I'm gonna have you pause your video right now, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, so if you got stuck on anything, we're gonna do it together. Oops, I did not mean to do that. What have I done? I've made everything terrible. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's go into our object here and we'll create our new state so we can hide. Well, we need attack 1 because we're going to have a similar transition into attack 2. So case attack 3 right here. We'll just say region attack 3. Oh, holy cow. 3 state. And then we'll do end region right here. And then we'll say, oops, what's going on here? Oh, we didn't tab these over. And there we go. Okay, set state sprite. And then we'll do S skeleton attack 3. And we'll do 0.7 for this one. And we'll set it on start on frame 0. And that's all we need. However, we do need to copy our transitions. So we need a transition from our attack 2 state to our attack 3 state. So we'll copy the transition from attack 1 because it will be very similar. So we're copying the transition from attack 1. And we're going to change this to, wait, I said 2 to 4 would probably work for this one too, right? So all we have to do is change this to attack 3, like that. Okay, and we'll run the game. There we go. We get stuck in our third one, and we are just going to stab them to death. Holy cow. Okay, so we need to have a transition out of that state in our animation end. So we'll say or state equals attack 3, like that. Run the game. Okay. There we go. Looks pretty good. And there you go. Probably half of you guys came here to watch this tutorial series just to figure out how to do the 1, 2, 3 combo. So there you go. That's how you do it. Now we don't have hitboxes in or anything yet, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This is a short lesson so far, so I did want to do, now that we've made some big leaps and learned a lot of things, I want to talk a little bit about variables because we created our very first variable right here called state, but we didn't really talk about the different kinds of variables that are available. So there are three main variables in GameMaker that you can use. There are what are called local variables, and you create one like this, var local var equals 0. They're instance variables, and this one would be like instance var equals 0. And of course, these names right here could be whatever you wanted. And then there are global variables. Global dot var equals 0. Okay, and you can see GameMaker colors all of these differently. An instance variable is colored blue, a local variable is colored yellow, and a global variable is colored this kind of purple color, magenta color. So it colors them all differently. In GameMaker Studio 1.4, it won't color them well, I don't know. It might have slight differences in colors. I don't remember. But the colors definitely won't be the same as this one. So it gives them different colors like this to kind of help you recognize them. So what are the differences between these variables? The main difference is where you have access to them. So inside of an instance variable right here, you have access to that variable, meaning you can change it or find out what value it holds anywhere inside of our current object right here. So in any of the events, anywhere we can access state right here. See, we created state, which is an instance variable, and we can access it right here. So instance variables are kind of region locked to the object that they're in, okay? Global variables can be accessed by any object or any script anywhere in your game. That global variable will be accessible. It doesn't have a region locked. It can be anywhere. You can access it. Local variables are specific to the code that you're currently in. So this variable right here, I can access it anywhere in here. I can say local var equals 5 instead. But the minute I come into the step event, a different piece of code here, if I try and do local var equals 10, well, that will actually GameMaker's a little bit naughty here. This would actually probably create a new instance variable here, which you can see that's why it's turned blue. But you can see we don't have access to that one anymore. Because this is turning blue, it's just creating a new instance variable instead of accessing the local variable that we created up here. So its scope, it's region locked to this script specifically right here, this little bit of code. Nowhere else can you access it. So once you know that, you need to know why. Well, it's good you should always use the minimum amount of scope that you possibly can. So for our state variable, we obviously need this to be a instance variable because it's accessed in multiple different events right here. We can't make it a local variable because we have to access it in different events. But we don't need to make it a global variable because obviously only this object needs to have access to the state. So you should always do the minimum you possibly can. Now let's see if we can make our scripts a little bit more readable. We're going to come into Move and Collide. And this is why, the reason I'm teaching you this is because we can now create some local variables inside of our scripts in order to store our arguments, and this just helps it be a little bit more readable. So we'll do var underscore x speed. Well, let's just do x speed. Var x speed equals argument 0. Okay, now instead of having argument 0 throughout here, we can just do x speed. So I'm going to paste x speed and x speed. And then we can say var y speed equals argument 1. And then we can paste that right here and right here. And in this case, we can use local variables because we only need to access these variables inside of this bit of code right here, inside of this single piece of code. We don't need to access them anywhere else. So because of that, we can use local variables and make our make our script here much more readable. Now we're going to do it in our other ones as well. Var low equals argument 0. Var high equals argument 1. And now we can say low and high. And remove the T from there. Well, let me show you what happens if you, let's leave this error in, because this is a good error, good learning experience. Let's say you actually have a typo like that. And then we try and do something. There we go. We got our error message. Okay, another error message. Great learning experience. Let's walk through this together here. We already know what the actual problem is, but you've got to practice reading error messages. They look really scary when they pop up, but if you step through them a little bit at a time, you can figure it out. So variable object skeleton dot high, not set before reading it. That means GameMaker is looking for the variable high, but it can't find it. It's saying you never created this variable. And then it's saying at script animation hit frame line 5. Okay, so let's come into here. We would say here's our animation hit frame range line 5. This variable high isn't working. Well, why is that? It's blue, so GameMaker thinks this is an instance variable. Well, it's supposed to be a local variable. Now, what's the difference? You would obviously see that, oh, I have a T in that one, and now it works. But it's just good practice to read error messages. You're going to get them a lot. Get in the habit of reading them and trying to figure them out on your own. I get a lot of people who kind of copy paste error messages to me, which is okay because sometimes you have tried on your own and you just couldn't figure it out, or you don't have the knowledge yet. But I do recommend trying to read the error message and figuring it out, because sometimes they're really pretty simple. So another thing we could do, well, let's just leave it at that for this script. Okay, let's move on to our state script right here. And we've got set state sprite arg. Okay, that all looks good. Let's create some variables here now. Var sprite equals argument 0. Var speed equals argument 1. There's an issue here, but I'm going to ignore it for a minute. Var index equals argument 2. Okay. So we'll obviously set, there's not an issue. We'll set that to sprite, that to sprite, this to speed, and this to index. Okay, now let's run the game, make sure this still works. We just have a more readable script now. Oh, we got an error message. It just didn't run, you can see here. And down here we have compile errors. So it says, script set state sprite at line 5 cannot redeclare a built-in variable. Now what on earth does that mean, right? Cannot declare a built-in variable? Well, if you remember, GameMaker has built-in variables like sprite index and image speed and image index. Well, there's actually also a built-in variable called speed. And so when we try and use that name, GameMaker kind of freaks out at us. It's like you can't use the name speed for your variable because it's already a built-in variable. It would be the same as if we tried to create a variable called sprite index equals 5 or something. See that? GameMaker is going to get mad at us for that because, oh, look, now it messes up all of our sprite indexes. It's just dangerous. It's dangerous and not good. So we have to give this a different name. So let's name it, so we can't name it image speed, right? Because that one's already taken. So we could just name it. One thing that a lot of people do is for local variables, they'll do an underscore before it like this, because then it won't be a built-in variable. And that's a very common practice, but underscores kind of scare beginners, so I'm kind of avoiding those. So let's just call each of these new sprite new speed, and new index like this. New sprite, new speed, and new index. There we go. And that should work. There we go. We got our 1, 2, 3 combo. And now you've learned the basics of variables. One more application for variables. So we've been using local variables and we've used one single instance variable. Let's create another instance variable and we'll call this one run_speed. Obviously we can't call this one speed because it's already a built-in variable. And we'll set it equal to 4. What's our move speed? Let's check our move state here. Looks like it's 4. Okay. Yeah, good. So we'll create one run speed and we'll create one called roll speed. And we'll set roll speed equal to, here's our roll state, 6. Okay. So run speed's 4, roll speed's 6. Now the convenient thing about having these as variables inside of our create event here is we can easily alter our character's run speed and roll speed in here as we're balancing and tweaking the game. So having easy to access variables like this that you can tweak on the fly and will affect the game's balance is really useful. So for our move state, we'll say run speed right here. And then for moving left, we'll say negative run speed. So that just puts a negative in front of our run speed. Cool little trick, right? Okay, and then we'll come into our roll and we'll just say roll speed. And then we'll come into here and we'll do negative roll speed. Okay, and then we'll run our game. And we'll roll. Oh, we got an error message. Okay, let's read it together. Object skeleton dot roll speed. There's 3 L's there. Not set before reading it. So line 50 of our step event. Line 50 of the step event. So we come into our step event, line 50, and yep, I've got 3 L's there. So remove that. And there you go. We fixed it. So we can roll. We can attack. We can cancel our attack mid combo if we want. And this is all looking really good. Got a really good base set up here. I'm excited for it. Thank you guys so much for watching this lesson. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.